Coffee.
Coffee, all right. Rocky Road. Pistachio. Okay, those are all great options. Too bad, you're all getting rum raisin. This is what happens with every employer in the United States. A person in HR or someone in leadership decides your health insurance for you, and you end up with something that you don't want. So you don't get your pistachio, you don't get your Rocky Road, you have to end up with the rum raisin equivalent healthcare plan. So that's where Benefix comes in. So in 2020, new regulation came into be in the United States, which basically allowed employers to offer health reimbursements for any policy that exists in the marketplace. This is very useful for you because that means that now you can have effectively customizable health insurance or customizable insurance plans. I think overall people are not very excited to hear about health insurance, but I think when you look at the numbers, things start to change and you realize, wow, the purchasing power behind benefits, specifically health insurance, is massive. In the United States, it equates for health insurance, employer-sponsored health insurance, it's close to $1 trillion with a T. That is how much your employer is contributing to your health insurance if you work at an employer and get health insurance through them. There's very limited options, so on average, people have under 2. Usually you get 1, maybe 2 options for health insurance, and people are pretty unsatisfied overwhelmingly, which is very frustrating, obviously. It's the second reason behind actual cash compensation why people do not stick with an employer. It is health insurance options. Huge workforce. This is a massive, massive group of people. It's the workforce in the United States. Many of them are eligible for health insurance. So we created Benefix, this platform. Basically, it is native with this very complicated piece of compliance and regulation. We also allow brokers to sell the ICHRA policies directly. Now, this opens the doors for a lot of brokers. And it's a lot of employer simplicity. You, as an employer, couldn't set up plans like this. This is far too complicated to do by yourself. There's a lot of places you can misstep. Your fines of $10,000 a day for a misstep around this space is not something you want to mess with. And that's where an ICHRA platform like our own comes in. So we have a very experienced team. We have a deep background in HR and a deep background in individual insurance marketplaces. It is definitely a place you want to have good technology, but understanding the nuances of it is also very important. Again, like I said, the space is massive. You have more than $1 trillion spent in US employer spend for health care. We primarily focus on small businesses. These small businesses typically range from the just under 50 to just under 200. The reason why this is an important number is because that's when federal regulations kick in and require you to offer health insurance, and this can be a death blow to some small businesses because when you're federally required to offer health insurance, it can be very costly. ICHRA plans tend to be about 30 to almost 50% cheaper than traditional group plans, which is a big deal when, again, you're talking about the costs of health insurance. There are few other items on your budget that can go up so much year over year. Just last year, we had an employer come to us, 100 employees, 1 employee got very, very sick. Their rates went up 40%. Of 100 people, 1 person caused the rates to go up. With ICHRA, the risk pooling is actually spread out across everyone on that plan. So it's pretty cool because now your rates only go up a couple of percent year over year. Big deal for a small employer. Our model is actually based on our PEPM alone. This, again, at scale is very effective. And then we use the established books of business from brokers to generate our sales. So we are purely a tech platform, which is really nice because that means we can focus on doing what we do really well, and the brokers can drive the sales for us, which is very effective. There are players in this space, and they've invested a lot of money into this. There's close to $100 or $500 million invested into ICHRA. Again, this is a very niche type of health insurance offering, and many of them go direct to the employers. The short-sighted side of this, however, is that they overlook the brokers who have established books of business with employers, and overwhelmingly that is the case. Today, an employer goes direct to the broker. So very, very cool to come into a space and understand that there are options, and this has been proved, so it's not necessarily this over or insurmountable problem, but it's also pretty exciting because I think there's lots of opportunity. Again, why now? It's people want to have more choice. They are seeing how expensive their costs are, and the fact that we can offer pre-tax is a big deal. I mean, if let's say you pay as an individual, you pay $10,000 a year. Let's say you have a family, so you're paying $10,000 a year towards your family. That can be tax-free, $7,000. It's a big deal, and it really impacts small employers specifically and employees of those small employers. Everyone wants benefits. I'm happy to answer any questions. Insurance, it's definitely not a flashy thing. I never thought I would nerd out on it, but it's actually super fun, and I think it's very rewarding too, because you see people who are struggling with getting healthcare, and in the United States, healthcare is incredibly expensive and it's incredibly hard to predict. So it's been super fun. Anyway, thanks all. Yes.
So my team currently gets our benefits through our PEO, which is JustWorks. I like a lot of things about them. How does this compare to a small organization who's getting their benefits through their PEO, which, by the way, is astronomically expensive, and I don't think it should be? Is this something that you would recommend using in addition to a PEO or instead of?
It could be. So for all of you, PEO, it's basically an organization group. Effectively, I'm simplifying this, but basically they take a bunch of employers and put them all under the same organization. Yes. So exactly. I would basically claim that all of these small employers fit into me as one employer, and now I can negotiate a rate for all of us. That can be good, depending on what you need, but especially when cost is your main driver, they charge those very high administration fees, which can be very expensive. You can end up paying like 30% more just in the administrative fees. It can be really good, especially if you're an employer. I'm kind of going tangential here, but if you're an employer who needs workers' comp insurance, PEOs can be a very good option. I think most businesses can really benefit from something like ICHRA when you don't need workers' comp, because PEOs are charging your group fees, and group fees are still always higher than ICHRA fees, or overwhelmingly. There are instances where it's not, but ultimately, like, I, as someone who's advising these companies, I don't point people towards ICHRA if it's not the right fit. So ultimately, it is cheaper. It can be worked together. Honestly, you just have to look at the prices and understand what they're offering. So I'm happy to help, and I'm always happy to run a quote. It's free, and I would be shocked if I couldn't find something that is a good price.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. And there's rum raisin ice cream in the fridge.
Are you up?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I'm one of the ecosystem partners. Oh. No, you're good. Hello, everyone. Let's go. So my name is Matt Fogarty. I am the founder of Cherry Willow Apparel and Cherry Willow Technology, part of the core team ecosystem. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story and working with my co-founder David on starting Cherry Willow and Cherry Willow Technology and kind of how it's evolved over the last couple of years. So first off, just want to say my first time in Seattle. Surf Incubator has been, thank you, appreciate the welcome. Surf Incubator has been an amazing space, and the weather has been pleasant. I mean, it beats the hell out of Chicago right now, so I love 50 degrees and sunny. It's perfect quarter zip weather. So just a little bit about Cherry Willow. This is our website here. So we are a nonprofit apparel organization, registered 501c3 in the state of Washington, as a matter of fact. And our mission is to support the unsheltered or people experiencing homelessness. So what we do is we create wearable advocacy campaigns to help address misconceptions around homelessness, while also increasing the awareness of the people. So when you look at people experiencing homelessness, oftentimes they feel invisible. They get walked past hundreds, if not thousands of times every day. And they're unacknowledged. And so one of our phrases that I came up with is humanize, not otherize. The otherization of the population of people experiencing homelessness is psychologically what allows people to continue to walk past. We're like, oh, that's not me. That's not my loved one, my neighbor. When that person is you. It very well could be you. We're all the same. And so I speak a lot about light. I deeply believe that there's light within each of us, that we were meant to shine on this world. But due to how people are valued or not valued rather in society, unless they're capable of creating a profit, the people experiencing homelessness don't often get an opportunity to shine their light, or their light has been dimmed, or whatever the case might be. And so working with that segment of the population has been really eye-opening. The background here was from last July. I biked from Sacramento to San Diego. That was 715 miles. We did it in 9 days. And the reason I picked that route is that 7 of the top 14 cities with the highest number of people experiencing homelessness in the country. And so what we do and how we've kind of evolved is just from being a direct-to-consumer brand to thanks to the incredible work of Shauna, who's our Director of Impact, and Dana, our Director of Compliance, a couple of team members here. We now work with over 60 nonprofits, and we give them an opportunity to use apparel as a fundraising tool, but then also as a marketing and a branding tool. So does anyone have a guess on how many nonprofits there are in this country?
20,000.
A little higher. 1.9 million. Nonprofits employ about 10% of people in this country. And so nonprofit industry is huge, but there's a large problem where the people that receive the services from the nonprofits, they understand the value, right? Because they're receiving the services. But the communities in which those nonprofits operate aren't often able to connect the value that that nonprofit brings to the people in that community that aren't receiving direct services. And so what we do is we consult with the executive directors, the founders, help to understand their mission, and then we create wearable advocacy campaigns to give to their volunteers, to their donors, to their staff that spotlights the mission, and then it's a conversation, right? Like in the digital world, we're all able to connect from wherever we are across the country, but then we're also disconnected from the person right next to us. And so that's the cool thing about apparel is if you have an eye-catching graphic, a thought-provoking statement, now you've started a conversation, and then you can tell a story. The storytelling side of things is what is really important because the story is where it evokes emotion. And emotion is what's going to drive that decision. And so that decision to support a nonprofit or not is very simple, and it's based on trust. And trust, as Jesse knows, comes from visibility and authenticity. And so that's the work that we do with nonprofits, is just to help them operate with more transparency in the open and help people in the community understand the benefits of having them there. One story I'll share, I recently interviewed quite a few people experiencing homelessness through a warming center that I'm a part of their marketing team. And one story that a gentleman shared with me is that he had a friend that was homeless and they were considering suicide. And all it took was one person stopping and just having a conversation with him. Didn't give him any money, just a little bit of their time, acknowledging the humanity of it. That changed that trajectory of that person's life. They decided not to go through with the suicide. They're making steps and connecting with people, and so that one act of kindness saved a life. And so I think most people in this world, they want to do good. They want to feel a part of something good, but they oftentimes don't know how, or maybe they don't feel like they can make a difference. And so what our work is with Cherry Willow is to show you that there are things that you can do to make a difference, even if it's something as simple as just stopping, introducing yourself to someone experiencing homelessness, and asking their name. That act alone, could save a life, and again, could alter the trajectory of someone's life. Now, as we've operated as a nonprofit, we've noticed that there was a lot of other gaps in nonprofit world, particularly on the technology side of things. So what we've developed is Cherry Willow AI. And people that operate in the nonprofit space are all very passionate about the work, but there's a lot of siloed data, there's a lot of information and systems that don't operate properly, and these people are already dealing with really heavy work. So now adding an administrative burden, that just increases the level of burnout in an industry that already faces a significantly high level of burnout. Nonprofits also, because they're mission-driven, they're also not compensated to the level that if you were doing the similar thing in a for-profit entity that you could do. And so that's what, being a part of the core team ecosystem, Rick, you saw present earlier, he's been helping to support us to get access to capital so that we can continue to grow our mission. Marcus, who also reported earlier, we're working to acquire a production facility in Colorado. He actually just texted me earlier today so that we can take full control of the order cycle, and then also as we grow, hopefully employ people that have experienced homelessness in the manufacturing of the material. So on the front end, you're not only advocating for these people, but on the back end, you're also providing workforce development opportunities, and again, enabling them, empowering them rather, to be a part of a solution. And so that's what Cherry Willow technology is about. It's about helping to automate workflows, to customize for the specific use cases of these nonprofits, many of whom are not extremely tech savvy most of the time. They get in, 1.9 billion people, they get into because they have the heart, right? They have the passion. And we leverage the who, not how model. So, when I started Cherry Willow, I certainly wasn't thinking, how can I develop technology? Because you get me in the weeds in the technology, I am not great. That's not a place that I want to be. But I know I connect well with people, right? And I know I can help tell a story. And then so who is really great at this that would love to help me with this? And that's the model of the core team partners, is this ecosystem approach. So instead of what we're taught is how am I going to solve XYZ problem, who is great at X problem that I could ask that would love to help me with it because it's what they're great at. Like Dana. Dana is great at paperwork. Paperwork is my nightmare. Get me out of there. I do not want to be involved with paperwork. Shauna is incredible with partnerships and collaborations. And so it's who do we find that are great at the work, and how can I empower them to do the best work that they're capable of doing? And so that's really what we're about at Cherry Willow. That's what core team is about. And it's been an incredible experience to see where we've come from 2.5 years ago to being able to speak with you all here, and really excited about what's to come this year and being able to continue to grow. We did the Pedal for Progress as the bicycle series, where we have one planned for Florida in the coming months, and we're going to do maybe an Iowa ride. We have a Texas ride, and there's so many amazing nonprofits all across the country. Being able to work with them, learn about their stories, it really fills my emotional cup up every time, because there's just so many people doing incredible work, and nonprofits are really the backbone of their community. And so being able to take my business background from a marketing and branding standpoint, be able to bring that tool to nonprofits and just help them tell their own story. That's all I'm doing. I'm listening, I'm showing up, and giving them the courage to share that with people. And like I said, I deeply believe that you can learn from everyone. Everyone has something to share. And so that, again, is what we are building at Cherry Willow. The name actually comes from the 2 streets that I grew up on. So my mom, she taught me about unconditional love. That's what I want Cherry Willow to stand for. I founded the organization 2.5 years ago after helping a couple of loved ones go through mental health challenges. Borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, depression, and seeing how the system had failed them in a lot of ways. And I had to learn myself how to show up for them with unconditional love when they couldn't show up for themselves, or certainly not for others. And so again, that's what I want Cherry Willow to be the symbol of, and it's unconditional love for all people. And together, when we bring together like-minded people that are trying to make the world a better place, it's an amazing thing to be a part of, and really grateful for the opportunity to speak with you all.
I just wanted to say, I really love what this brand stands for. It speaks loud, so loud that you don't need a mic. So, really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Matt, you mentioned partnerships. Can you say a little bit more about how Cherry Willow partners?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Alicia. So on the partnership side of things, and if you have more questions, connect with myself or Shauna. We'd love to walk you through it. What we do is essentially build e-commerce stores for these nonprofits. It doesn't have to be nonprofits. We also work with for-profits. And what we do is it's a profit share model. So we stand up the e-commerce shop. We handle the burden of the fulfillment, all the logistics that go into running an e-commerce shop. And then for nonprofits, we actually partner on an 80-20 profit share. So that nonprofit gets 80% of the profits sold as a donation to their organization. For businesses, we do a 50-50 profit share. So if you have a socially aligned business that wants to have merchandise as a part of it, and merchandise is a great way to tell a story. So a lot of the partnerships come with cross-promoting on social media, helping to create content. We do LinkedIn Live shows, partnered here with Jesse at Reviting, and we'll bring on people to tell the story of their organization, why the work that they do matters in their community, and how can people support. And sometimes, an action just as small as following them on social media, sharing a little bit about their content, like the ripple effect from that is something we don't talk about. Like if you're looking at time travel movies, you go back in time, the butterfly effect, it's like, oh, you do one small action in the past, it has this whole trajectory on the future. But people have that same opportunity every day. We're in the present moment, and our actions now matter. And there is no time like the present. So, you can act, and those actions will continue to move. And that's another one of our little phrases, action is the answer. A lot of us, especially, Founderland, we stay in that ideation stage a lot. We want to have the perfect idea. We want to have it. But what can happen is we can attach our egos to that. And then if we bring that idea to market, and the market is giving us feedback, and we're like, well, this is such a great idea. This is my idea. Then you can miss those connections. So it's like you got to bring it to the market, get that feedback, and then act on that feedback. And again, if you surround yourself with a great team of people who are like-minded, they're interested, and they want to support you, that's a great way to set yourself up for success. And culture is a huge thing. Your first 6 people are your culture, and that's what sets the tone. And that's something that you can't get past. Your first 6 people are your first 6 people. So that goes a lot into the culture side of things.
2 questions. How many clients do you currently have, and how long does it typically take to get a shop set up and all the apparel branded and ready to go?
Sure. So I think right now we have a little over 60 clients. And we've done shops in as fast as like 3 days, but we suggest to give us a couple of weeks because we are humans and like to sleep. But like for a lot of people with apparel, they have events coming up and they want to be able to, if they have one fundraiser a year, they don't want to wait a whole year to be able to introduce the concept to their audience. But typically it's about a week and a half, 2-week turn time.
So that's from zero to manufactured apparel?
That's to getting the shop created, and we could do an apparel item if you wanted at that time, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How long have you been part of the ecosystem?
So David and I founded Cherry Willow, I want to say we first started the idea in December 2023. We incorporated the nonprofit in December of 24. We became a 501c3 in August. And then the technology I've been working on getting off the ground in that interim. So Yeah, about 2 years.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Cool. Well,
Hey,
thank you,
Matt,
everybody.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Could you tell
absolutely.
the audience a little bit about how you've gotten some visibility online? You've done things yourself on TikTok, and what has that done for your brand?
Sure. So founder-led content, I think, is a great way to build a brand. As I was chatting with Ruben about the cowboy hat, like making content and having something that, is a unique identifier. That's a huge opportunity. And being the founder, like people follow people, right? You think of Nike, you think of Phil Knight. And you know the waffle iron story if you're like shoes. I'm not a sneakerhead personally, but people follow the person behind the brand. Skims, that's a great e-commerce brand, but it's the Kardashians. Like that's the people follow the people behind the brand. So when you're sharing on LinkedIn or TikTok or whatever platform, it gives people an opportunity to see who you are and what you're about. And that's how I've been able to surround myself with such amazing people. And that's by keeping to show up openly, transparently, honestly, that you get really good connections, and then they establishes loyalty, because they see the person behind the professional. Cool.
Yep, go follow Matt.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, I thought Nick was going. Doesn't Nick go then? All right. Mic myself up here. Here we go. So what do I plug in here to get the screen going?
It's screen mirror.
You just
Oh.
top right corner of your.
It's wireless.
Oh, nice.
Unless you have sound.
It's Bluetooth?
No, the screen mirror one should be like the little. Share your screen.
Here.
It's like you don't have it up there in the. Gotcha, don't you worry. There's your screen. Yeah, it should be under displays. Display settings.
Maybe not with Mac.
No, of course, Mac.
That's okay. I'll go without it.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Let me know. I'll try to look around, see if we can
That's
figure
all
out where
good.
it is. Sure.
Don't worry. All right. Well, let me get the live stream pointing at me over here now. But hi, everyone. I am Jessie Lezak. I am with Reviting. Reviting is a marketing agency. Reviting stands for Revenue and Marketing Mixed Together. Before I ran my own company, starting 3 years ago, I was a chief marketing officer at a data exchange platform. And before that, I was spending a lot of time in B2B SaaS. And what I found is that these startups, they wanted to spend all this ad money. And when I would come in, the first thing I would do be shut off all the ads. $9,000 a month going down the drain in Google Ads. What are we gonna do? We're gonna come in, we're gonna shut it off. We're gonna see what happens. Do the customers stop converting? Do the leads stop coming in? It's a really good test. I've done it twice. Nothing changed. There was $9,000 a month on one, $15,000 a month on another. Spam, garbage, junk. The number of customers converting maintain the same. Because attribution software, it doesn't really tell the full story anymore. If you ask your customer, how did you hear about us? What are they gonna say? They're gonna say, LinkedIn, TikTok. I heard you on your podcast. I heard you on Instagram, and then I saw you at an event. Did your attribution software catch that? No, it didn't. But what it did catch is they went on Google after they met you, and then it came in as organic. So the CFO is going to look at that and call that SEO. But it's not. So that's the first thing that I want to have all of you keep in mind, because we're going to be talking about going live and building your personal brand. But the hardest part about that is the data. You can't trust the data. And we got a lot of tech people here. I see some finance people, some numbers. I've had to deal with some CFOs, and they want to, come at me about how much money we're spending on LinkedIn Live, how much money we're spending on podcasts. But guess what you do? You put a question on your web form. How did you hear about us? And then you know what? You start to see LinkedIn, deconstructing data, the name of the podcast, LinkedIn. Okay, well, they clicked your ad, and they came in through the ad, so it looks like the ad worked, but really they said they heard about you on LinkedIn. So I want you all to remember that. You're going to see your attribution software. You're going to look at these marketers. You're going to look at the people like me in our pink jackets and be like, you're irrational. This attribution software told me it all came from the ads. And that's okay. You can fire me. That's cool. Bye. But guess what? Social media isn't going anywhere. And I'll tell you what. You are all going to want, at some point, to be like, I just want those ads to do the work. And I do too. But guess what? That's just not the age we live in anymore. Ads do things. They do. There's a certain point when you know exactly who your customer is. You have a whole bunch of customers. You know who your audience is. You know what your message is. Then you go throw $10,000 a month. But not before. You're going to waste it. All right, so let's get into how do we do this. So opportunity doesn't create momentum. Many of you are going to walk out of here with some big opportunities, some money. And you know what? After that, after you get that money in your pocket, what are you going to go do? You're going to go put your head down, and you're going to get to work. But what do you really need to do? You need to get visible. Nobody knows about you if you are not visible. I am a soccer mom in my 40s from the middle of Ohio. Do you know how I met David Gray? I was posting every day on LinkedIn. Some guy I met named Nick said, hey, Jesse, you should meet my friend David Gray. How did I meet Nick? Nick showed up to my live stream. Well, live streaming on TikTok, how many of you watch a live stream on TikTok? So live streaming on TikTok is changing the economy for B2C. You see people watching live stream on TikTok, and it's the new QVC. This coat, actually, I got for free on TikTok, and all I had to do was make a video of it. And then I made about $600 on commission just from this jacket alone that I got for free. So that's the type of tangible products they're selling on TikTok for B2C. For B2B, they're still ignoring live stream. TikTok, oh, that's flashy. And to a certain degree, yeah, for B2B it is. But where B2B is really succeeding is on LinkedIn. And the CEOs and the founders, they all I think I need a podcast. Yeah, B2B, we need a podcast, right? Yes, you do. But if you just make a podcast, you gotta go market the podcast. So how do we kill two birds with one stone? We go live on LinkedIn. And in the age of AI, where everything is made up, there's deep fakes out there, there's, it's crap. But when you show up live as the face of the brand, and your audience knows that you are consistently showing up live, where they can ask you questions, they can listen to what you have to say, it's a little different. We're talking about building trust here. So TikTok, it's a little different because, you like my coat, you might just click to buy it. B2B is a little different. We gotta have thought leadership. We've got to educate our audience. Sometimes they don't even know they have the pain that they have. So you start showing up on LinkedIn and you're going live. Most people don't think about live on LinkedIn, but it's the only way you can get long-form video content on LinkedIn. And so you take that live stream, and then what do you do with it? You chop it up. You get the founder, show up one time, talk, chop it up in clips, distribution. Distribution is gonna be your best friend in this economy. And the way we market now, if you just create new content all day long, you're not gonna build a business. You need someone who can record you as the founder, maybe once, and do a million things with it. So your job as a founder is not just to build a company. Your job is to make sure people understand what you're building. So how do you do that? Well, you gotta be a broken record a little bit. When you're good at marketing, you are a broken record. So when I come to events like this, what I like to do is take away actionable little tidbits that I can actually use in my life. So this is what I want to leave with you all is I want you to take this away. What is the one word you want to be known for? Period. This is the beginning of your content marketing strategy. Start thinking about it. What is the one word you want to be known for, your audience? And some of you are going to be like, I want to be known for strength. I want to be known for credibility. Everybody wants to be known for that. What's something that is uniquely you? That a word that would be included in every one of your posts? Let's start there. Think about it. Anyone want to shout out what's their one word? Anyone ready? Nick, I see you. You're thinking.
Not just one. Vibes.
Vibes? Yes, that's the name of your company too, right? But what does that tell me about your company? That doesn't tell me that you are connecting contractors with people. When I hear vibes, I'm thinking, okay, so I'm on Vibe Code? What is this? Is this new Lovable? So I'm just challenging you all. So my one word is live stream. That's what I want to be known for. I'm a live streamer. So I want you to continue to think about that. So, because right now, if I ask 10 people what you do, most of you would get 10 different answers. And that's the problem. So clarity is what's going to build trust. If I'm confused, I don't trust you. Because if I'm confused, why am I going to buy from you? That's strange, you know, like that, you're tricky, you're tricking me. But when I'm clear, then I understand. So good marketers, good founders, you sound like a broken record. You have your one word. Okay, so here's the next thing you're gonna take away. What are your 3 content pillars? Those are the 3 things you're gonna post about. Each pillar you can write about 1,000 different ways. And that's it. You don't write about anything else. If your pillar is apparel, we're talking about apparel, we're talking about homelessness, and I don't know, Matt, what's your 3rd line here? We got something else there. What is that? Housing, I love that. All right, so then what Matt's not gonna talk about is the environment. Matt is not an activist for maybe he is, but online, what he wants to be known for are those 3 things. So this is where a lot of people start to get confused, is they'll just be like, this isn't working. I'm not getting any leads from all these posts. Well, what's your message? What are you telling people? How are they remembering you? And the other thing you have to remember about getting active on social media is you have to have a strategy. It is not going to work if you don't have a strategy. It's also really good to know your product market fit. And if you're pre-revenue, you can't convince me you know your product market fit yet. You might be able to convince someone else. But once you start putting yourself out there and you start to learn, you'll refine your message because you'll start to see, oh, this is what resonates with those people. This is what resonates with these people. So you gotta just take messy action. 3 content pillars, 1 word, messy action. That's the problem. If you wait and you're gonna be perfect and you're gonna be polished, I'm too scared to post. Oh my gosh, my grandma's gonna see this. Oh my gosh, my neighbor's gonna make fun of me. Oh my gosh, the haters are gonna troll in the comments. Oh, that one lady, I'm not gonna post this because she's gonna see it. Yeah, that's really how my biggest sales objection that I get from founders is imposter syndrome. Founders are scared to go live on LinkedIn. They're scared to be visible. Visibility is your key. So I guess I don't have my slides, but I had some numbers I was going to show you specifically about LinkedIn. LinkedIn has over 1.2 billion users globally. Over 300 million people are active every month. There are tens of millions of companies on that platform. But here's the part that should really wake you up. Only a tiny fraction, 1% of the users, are posting consistently. So if you show up and you're not afraid to post, you're gonna be visible on LinkedIn. And I say LinkedIn for B2B, definitely, but it is for B2C too, because guess what? That's where all the decision makers are. They're on LinkedIn and they're lurking. They're not liking it, they're not commenting on it, but they're lurking. And you know, you might post every day for 2 months and be like, this is exhausting, I'm not getting anything. There's just, the reach is all so low. Well, think about your TAM. Are there millions of people in your total addressable market? Probably not. You might even have a small total addressable market. So don't be ashamed if you have low reach. Keep going. You just have to keep going. All right, so LinkedIn, it's really not just another social platform. People are on LinkedIn in between meetings, before they make hires, before they make investments, before they choose partners. So when founders ask, where should I be showing up? The real question is, where are people already making decisions? Where are the decision makers? They're not on TikTok. I mean, they might be, but they're not doing business on TikTok. They're buying this jacket though. But yeah, they're on LinkedIn and they're lurking. So people are no longer building brands behind logos. The professional, polished images, it doesn't work. But you, the founder, with messy hair, telling us about how you got here and the struggles that you had and how that customer just bitched you out and the real stuff that you're scared to talk about, that's what's going to connect with people. So you really do have to get in there. It's called building in public now. And I really suggest people go follow Adam Robinson, or Robinson, I think he goes by, RB2B. He puts his P&L on LinkedIn. This man has made a 7-figure business in I don't even know how long. It has scaled extremely fast, completely bootstrapped, and he's just spilling the beans. And people are tearing him apart, but guess what? He leans into the trolls, because the trolls drive the algorithm. So when those haters come out, you embrace them, and you just let them keep commenting. Don't let them bring you down. When the haters come out, it's because you're making them feel something. You're making them see what they haven't done. So founders, you guys are the leaders. You have to put yourself online. You have to put yourself out there. And if you can't do it, you gotta find someone you really trust who can be the face of your brand. Because as Matt said, people buy from people, not brands. All right, I'm gonna try to wrap this up here. So live is the shortcut. If you're brave enough to do it, you're gonna reach people. You might go live the first time and maybe 2 people show up. Guess what? 2 people who watch you for 40 minutes talking, that's actually pretty good. 2 people, that's okay. When I'm on a sales call, I'm only on a sales call with 1 person. But I got 2 strangers who are listening to me here. Embrace that. You got 10 people who showed up to your live stream. Holy cow, just imagine you have a conference table with 10 people in it. Why are we so sad about that? All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up and remind you that distribution is everything. Create once, distribute forever. So that's sort of the revenue model. We make 1 live stream. We turn that 40-minute live stream into a month worth of video clips, podcasts, take out the transcript, feed it to AI, build a newsletter. Distribution, because you're going to need to keep making content over and over and over again. So if you're sitting here and doors are starting to open for you, or you feel like they're going to start opening soon, I want you to think about this differently. Don't just ask, how did I get the opportunity? You should ask, am I ready to be seen? And if not, what do you need to do to get there? Or who can help your brand get seen? Who is that face? So, because in this next era of business, the founders who grow are going to be the ones who are willing to be seen. And the moment you do that is not just the moment the opportunity starts. That's when you're actually going to start growing. So that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
So I love everything you're saying. I think the biggest, as a founder, the biggest barrier I see for myself is I want to create something authentic, so I don't want to just pump out something AI generated. But at the same time, to create something authentic takes some time, like at least half an hour per day if I'm trying to post daily, but maybe more than that. So I guess, do you have any tips on how to do that more efficiently?
Yeah. There's an app called StreamYard. I can send you a link. I'm an affiliate. Full disclosure, you can use Restream too. I'm not affiliated with that one. Both of those are preferred LinkedIn vendors. It's a third-party app. You can connect to LinkedIn and you can live stream. Sit in front of your computer, talk for 30 minutes. Invite a friend on, someone in your industry. If you can't do it alone, talk 30, 40 minutes. That's enough content right there for you to make a whole month's worth of video clips. You could pull out the transcript, feed it to AI, give me ideas for posts. Here's my content strategy, here's my 3 pillars, here's 40 minutes of me talking, go write a month's worth of posts. Go back and read it because we don't want your post to look like it was written by AI. I don't want to see any em dashes, you know all the cliche stuff. Like make it look like an actual human wrote it. But that would be my suggestion is go live once, distribute it, download it, put it in YouTube, all the places.
Okay. I guess as a follow-up, when you go live as a founder, should you approach it kind of like a talk? Like you plan a little bit what you're going to talk about, or should I just like work on whatever I'm doing that day and see what happens?
Either or, I've done both, honestly. But yeah, I suggest setting it up like a podcast, where you have a consistent time you're showing up once a week. My show is Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, so here soon. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm showing up, I'm bringing on a seller, and I'm bringing on a marketer, and we're talking about sales and marketing. And before the show, we plan the topics. Okay, this person's an expertise in cold email. This person's an expert in, SEO. So then we come up with a title for that episode and the topics that each are going to connect or that are going to kick off. So there is planning that goes into it a little bit because you do want it to still fit within your content post. Remember, you want to be a broken record. So you want to bring on people who can speak on your content pillars. Yeah. Yeah.
So this, not just in LinkedIn, but it dates back quite a bit of time. So there's an example of a software engineer, Joel Spolsky, who runs a software firm in New York, and he writes a regular posting called Joel on Software, which is very popular among software engineers who are his market because it does source code control systems for them. But sort of the question I want to get to, rather than giving too much background, is how do you get above the noise? Because there is just a ton of noise on LinkedIn right now, and it's not improving.
Yeah, you got to train the algorithm. Show up every day at the same time.
That's it?
That's it. Just you're going to post every day at Monday or at 9 a.m. Start doing it. Guess what? Your audience is going to start realizing that you show up every day at Monday. They're going to like it, and then every day when they log in at that time, you're still going to be at the top of their feed. Find some consistency in the time. Also the messaging. You can't be all over the place with the messaging. But connect with people. You can't just expect people to connect with you. The most important thing you can do on LinkedIn is go find your ICP and comment on their posts. People like to feel seen. So when you comment on their posts, you're going to be more likely to end up on their feed. So the more you actively engage with your audience, the more visibility you will also get.
And can I also just add what you mentioned earlier about the consistency and the one word you want to be remembered by and the 3 pillars that you're posting? And I think that will also help push that algorithm
Yes.
And that could that might be the signal that helps you cut through the noise to find your.
That's a great point. LinkedIn is a search engine. So if you want to be known for marketing, you write marketing in all of your posts. If someone goes in there and search marketing, you're likely going to appear. And I saw another hand.
I'm not into social media as much, also, but I've heard, and I want to just get your take on it, whether or not only, doing the things that you said, which is your one word, your 3 pillars, et cetera, posting at the same time, routinely, but what about your words also matching something about your profile?
Yes.
Or about
Yes.
your info session?
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you for that. Yeah. This is a great point. So your personal profile, it's basically like the website of you. So if you know anything about old school SEO, I mean, we got, GEO now, so it's a little different, but old school SEO, you got your keywords. So I want to be known for marketing. I want to be known for live streaming. I should have that sprinkled all throughout my profile. I should have it in my headline. I should have it in my job experience. I should have it in my volunteer experience. Anywhere I can put the word marketing and live streaming, it should be there. Then when I'm posting, I should also write about it. LinkedIn also has an SSI score. So if you go on Google and you just search LinkedIn SSI score, you can drop your LinkedIn there. It'll tell you how you're performing on there. And that's one of the things that it measures, is how well it can understand who you are and if your audience also has those keywords too. It's like trying to connect, like how well you're connecting with your community. I haven't looked at my SSI score in a while, but it's a good thing to do. Great point. Yeah, anything else? Yeah.
Is there space in your podcast for founders?
Absolutely. If you guys want to be on my show, I'd love to have you on my show. Actually, I help produce 11 shows right now, so I have a lot of shows that we're helping. So let me know. I'd love to get you guys on some podcasts for sure. Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I think you're next.
I'm next, yeah.
All right.
Okay, everybody stand up, stretch for 30 seconds. Just relax, stretch. Get up for a second, stretch while we get this set up. There you go. Big stretch. There we go.
Are you first of the afternoon presenters?
I don't know. I don't know, am I?
Oh,
Let me get out of your way here.
How do I do this? Let's do stop presenting. Present. This time.
No, British Private School.
What? You don't think so? I know that's all. Do you know how I can do like presenter notes on a different screen?
I don't know. Yeah, it would be in it if we were extending it.
Go to the display settings. Do you have like an extend rather than duplicate?
What do you guys mean by that? This one? Display settings. And then I'll do.
I'm a Windows person.
Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
I would use your
I
phone.
don't have Prezi on my phone though. I don't think.
Get it real quick.
I know, right?
Log in. There you go. There's your phone.
There it
If
is.
I had my iPad, I would let you use my iPad. I don't have my iPad though. Unless you want me to grab my MacBook.
That's all right.
Okay.
It doesn't connect to MacBook.
Prezi?
It did, when I was trying it.
Oh, I meant the, he's trying to see his Prezi notes for like the just,
Ba, 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 ba.
great idea though. Literally everyone was like, yeah, great, stretching. And it gives you time, so you're good.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that for me.
Obviously loved your talk. I was like, yay, perfect. It's like, I really told them it. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
There you go.
Wait, how do I do the notes now? Fuck me. Boop, boop, boop. It doesn't give me the notes.
Back up.
Keep offline, share, start remote.
No, don't delete it.
Oh my god.
Why in the heck are your notes? What if you use this for your presenting notes and then this for your just clicking through it? Swap it.
What?
Because this is connected to this, right?
Oh, you mean
What if you
connect
swap
this
it?
one?
Connect that one.
All right, let's try that.
No. I don't know how to disconnect it.
Okay, so. All right, how do I do this here? Windows link. Screen mirror.
Do you have to disconnect this one? Probably. Here, wait.
Yeah, take me off this one.
So you're looking for Uni Mirror.
Hold on, so Android use. Which one is it? Smart View. Smart View. Oh my God, please.
Do you need help?
Smart. View. Smart things. I don't think that's it. That's not it. You know, that would have been nice. Wireless scan QR code. Smart secure quality. Wow, son. Music share.
Let's see. NFC interpreter.
Oh, hold on a second. There it is.
Here we go. Ah.
Okay, I can do this. Beep, 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 beep.
Beep, beep, beep. Oh, it's gonna be perfect. Oh, perfect. You're so good. Ha. But just make sure your thing has D&D on it.
D&D? What's a D&D?
Yeah, not just-
Oh, I see.
So people don't try to text you or call you while you're in here. Or like, I don't know how to do it on an Android, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there it is, do not disturb. Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and then now you can use this for your present or view. There you go. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
I said coaching. What's your I figured it out. Ready to go back?
Okay, let's get it going.
Stretch is over.
Stretch is over.
Back to work.
Back to work. So I'll get started in 3, 2, 1. Action! Hey everybody, my name is Nick Bastris. And for those who don't know me, I am building a multi-million-dollar national brand that is soon to be a household name across the country by the end of this year. My goal is, by this time next year, everybody in this room will have someone that is connected to them who will know of my company. You may say, Nick, that is a pretty lofty goal, especially since you haven't sold a single lick of product and you don't know who I am and you don't know my company or what it does. And to that I would say, fair question. Fair question. Admittedly, these are high goals. If I was doing this by myself, alone, but I'm not. I'm not doing this by myself. So picture this. Imagine having a Michael Jordan. Imagine dragons. Imagine having a Michael Jordan on your team. The GOAT. The best person for that job, for that role. And they're the best and greatest at what they do. And that's what I get with working with Core Team Partners ecosystem. They work with trusted partners that connect you with the GOATs of those specific areas that you need to accomplish the goals that you're trying to accomplish. This has been my experience working with Core Team Partners and all of their connections in all of the areas that I need to reach my business goals. So let's zoom out for a second. I'm like having to control two devices. This is fun. So since I'm not doing this alone, these are the core areas of my business that I need to be in place for my company to scale, okay? And we have a Michael Jordan for every topic that I did not find or source on by myself. That's what happens when you have the power of a strong ecosphere. Everybody's been saying ecosystem today. this is my personal ecosphere. So obviously, it's consulting, it's finance, it's the tech stack, it's marketing. All of the above, I need to have a rock star in each program. And for this, let's talk about the tech stack. So one of the partnerships in the ecosystem that a core team partner uses is a company called IceWeb. And IceWeb is has trusted proprietary solutions that help brands work together and scale. Boop. I hate this thing. Boop. IceWeb happens to be the company I work for by day, not to be confused with the company I'm trying to launch. So a little bit about IceWeb and why Core Team Partner uses them as an ecosystem partner. IceWeb is a MarTech company with some of the most bleeding edge technologies out today. In the online space, we meet customers at their moment, when and where they're searching for your products and services. And as a business owner, that's exactly where any brand strives to be. Great. So that moment is extremely important to capture, okay? When and where, I'll keep talking about that. So when we talk about traditional search or SEO, usually people go on to Google and they will try to appear here in what we call the SERP. This is the battleground. This is where all the people, this is their moment they're looking for your products and services. This is that moment you want to meet them. So IceWeb penetrates and gets their customers to appear in these SEO in these 1, 2, and 3 positions. We call that the Goldilocks zone. But I would also encourage you to pay very close attention to what we call GEO. Some people call it AIO or AEO. What we're talking about is search within LLMs, large language models, AI search. This is a year ago today, this wasn't on their radar. Now, every meeting I take, every brand is trying to get them to appear within large language models like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Grok, all of them. So those who plant their flag fast and early will be greatly rewarded coming up in these LLMs. What we're seeing is a lot of business to business is happening, conversations is happening inside LLMs. We're also people comparing product A with product B. They're speaking to it like a trusted friend or an advisor, much different than how they communicate with Google, where it's more keyword based. This is almost shopping with your best friend or asking it questions. So that's one of the things that Core Team Partners uses IceWeb for, is because we can actually tap into customers and tap into these specific LLMs to get their brands noticed and seen. The next one is one of my favorite products that IceWeb has. And this one is very proprietary. This is called the GSB. It stands for the Google Search Bar. Those who have your laptops out, if you wanted to go to Google, you can literally type Fort Worth car accident, and as you're typing attorney, Simons and Fletcher will come up. This is unique to us. This is arguably the most valuable space in all of search. If you can come up into this location as that #1 suggestion, we see 3 things. 1, we see higher conversion rates. That's the most important one, in my opinion. When we can bring people from this channel, you're very recommended. It's almost like Google saying, hey, go check these people out. They're the best. And we can do this with any keyword, right? Medical devices. We can do it with whatever tool that you have or that you want to show up. Coming #1, it's almost like being endorsed by Google. There's actually 2 strategies for this. This one's called a trigger keyword. Whatever's your dream keyword that you want to be aligned with, let's call it LinkedIn marketing. We can get your name, your company to come up #1 in this spot. And we can do that across every platform, also in AI. The second strategy to use this is the GSB is called conquesting. So much different than the first one, which is a trigger keyword, this one's actually designed to pull share away from a competitor. So when we're looking at Asana versus Monday, People are looking in to log into Asana, but now they're met with versus Monday. That's when the red flags go up. Hold on a second. I was here trying to look for log into Asana. Now Google's showing me Monday. What's going on with that? So we complete that story, right? We have to put an article on Forbes or something with a high domain authority to say why Monday is now better than Asana. And we negotiate that rate. We have content writers who write that content. But this is a tier 1 publication, and it gives link juice to the brand itself to help them appear in more searches across the internet. So the GSB is proprietary to just us. It's one of the tools that we have that is, I'd say, the strongest brand awareness and aligning you with your customer. And again, that's exactly where you want to be, is in the moment that they are looking for your products and services, and meet them right there. That's where we see the most action. So just to recap for IceWeb itself, before we get into everything else, IceWeb brings brand awareness because of the GSB. We have a revenue driver through that GSB. And if you're trying to launch a product or a new brand, it's always good to come up as that #1 recommended there into the Google search bar. So we work with Core Team and their partners. I personally work with them every day. And just like Matt was saying, it's really about the who, not the how or the what. It's the who's the expert in that. Core Team Partners is very big on that. I've actually bought into that as well. I want to have Michael Jordan's working for me. You know, I almost said Tom Brady, but like we're here in Seattle. I don't know if that goes well. So moving forward here. So I'm a really good example because I'm actually going through the program with my brand that I'm working with today that we'll talk about here in a second. Right now, I'm actually working specifically with Codature. Codature, who you met earlier with Rick, they bring consultants end to end. So they've helped me identify who my target fits are and how to go and how to kind of tailor the message for each persona. They've helped me with my website. They're helping me connect the dots that I just didn't know how to do or had the bandwidth of doing it specifically. Oh no. Here we go, perfect. Okay, so more Core Team Partner ecosystem. We're looking at getting finance through CT Capital. I was talking to, we had Marcus on earlier today. We're looking to buying a company to help expanding to own the end-to-end for my product production. So speaking of product production, this is the company I'm trying to spin up. It's a company called Garage Snaps. Hopefully this will be a household name, like I said, this time next year. And what we do is we turn the front of home garages into a canvas, into a marketing platform, into whatever you dream. We can make it happen. So just to show you a little bit about it, what we do here is we put decorations that are held on by magnets, and they cling to the front of your garage, and they just snap into place. Oh, good. Come on now, really? Okay, well, technology, right? That's not fun.
Try to copy the link. Are you on the Wi-Fi? Yeah. Copy the link.
No, I'm not in the Wi-Fi. Well, maybe I am.
It's search the sound. Lowercase.
Yeah, we're not gonna do it. We'll just go this. We'll do this. I'll show it this way. Boop. So they are cut into, they're slotted so they can stay in place when the garage goes up, and they snap together when the garage comes down. So we can do, what we're working on is now a consumer side. So we have a consumer side where we can do any type of decorations there. Not this one, but this one here. And so we're in the middle of designing. I hate this thing so much. Oh my God. Okay, here's a good example here. So this is my house here. We've got a couple of hero characters. We're gonna have Christmas, we're gonna have Halloween, birthdays, Hanukkahs, you name it. I said that wrong. But then we also have a second side of the business. And so this is gonna be our commercial side. Everyone gets pretty excited about this side. So what we're working on is being able for realtors to present on a big billboard size at the front of the house, house for sale, open house, now leasing, welcome home. And the idea is we want this to be scannable from the driveway, and we want it to be very easily shareable. My mom actually bought a house 4 doors down. I know, you'd think it's bad, but it's actually turned out to be a good thing because I send the kids over there and they go. But the reason why she did that is, or the reason she knew about that is because I shared that listing with her. So what we're trying to do is make this a very community-driven thing. We also want people to be able to scan the QR code, go to a specific comment section and say, hey, we love the tenants who lived here before, or this is a great neighborhood for kids, or we're only 5 minutes from the grocery store, right? They're gonna help sell that house. Or they could even say, hey, this is too expensive. And what we found is that this is just more ammo for the realtor themselves to say, hey, we now have gathered more intelligence about what is being said about your home. So it may help lower that cost, raise the cost. Any information is great to them, is gold. And boop. Okay. So that's what I'm building today with the help of these core team partners. And this is something I could not have done by myself. It helps us get there a lot faster because if I would have done all of this by myself, then it would have taken me forever. So we bring in people who know how to do this and know how to deliver the product that I'm trying to build today. So core team partner has been my choice partner to go with. IceWeb has been the right partner that they choose whenever they're trying to launch or scale a business, even at any stage, incubator or well-established. And Garage Snaps, with help, of course, is my next big thing that I'm working on. And this QR code goes to our new website that we just launched a couple of days ago, and also was developed by a core team partner. Actually, Codature helped me with this website. So we're pretty proud of it. And I'll say thanks for there. Yeah, any questions? Woo! Question, go.
Yeah, Garage Snaps, are you looking to own your manufacturing?
Correct. Great question. So we are looking. So that's why I was working with Marcus, and we're actually fully hunting right now a print shop where I can purchase one that's already bringing revenue, of course, but that way I can own the entire supply chain and maximize my margins. My goal for this company is to expand into like licensing, like NFL, having a Dallas Cowboys star on your garage, or a Texas A&M. I'm from Texas, by the way. On your garage there. So owning that entire supply chain is just going to help my profitability. It's also going to help me quality control. So when I can start spinning this stuff up and actually scaling, that's my most. I think that's the way to do it going forward is owning that entire place. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Popping up.
Uh-huh.
And as an attorney, I use the keyword attorney after Fort Worth attorney.
Uh-huh.
Came up. But if I use the word lawyer.
Right. Different keyword. Right.
It didn't come up.
Correct.
Or if I use the word legal help because I'm just an unsophisticated consumer.
That's the phrase that they chose to be aligned with. So we've had so we can do this by country or we can do it by localized. So they said Fort Worth. They obviously want to just appeal to Fort Worth. When I take out and just put car accident attorney, that's Googled for 450,000 times per month. So that would be set aside for like those big, like annoying lawyers that are like on top of trucks and yelling and have hammers. Yeah, that's a keyword for those big time lawyers. But when we localize it, we can put the city in front of it. It's just whatever keyword that you want to be aligned with, whatever that keyword is, and it would work inside the country, so the entire United States. So I've had, best motivation speaker in Mexico, and she pops up above Obama. You know what I mean? Like it's really interesting to see the power of the GSB, the Google search bar, because I like to use it in the first strategy, which is the trigger keyword, and usually that second strategy to detract away from a competitor happens around month 6. But to answer your question, we can align to any specific keyword, but it's got to be pretty exact and right on the nose. That's why we got to be very choosy and picky on which GSB keyword we want to go with, because we want transactional value. We want people to buy it, not just are trying to get informational keywords, right? Just what is this, right? We don't want to align that. We want people who are looking to buy the thing, and that's why we're very picky on the Google search bar keyword. And this is probably our flagship product. And we price that out by volume, basically. So if you have a really high attractive keyword, you're going to pay for it. But if it's a lower volume keyword, it's a little bit less expensive. There's a question over here.
Yeah, so I love everything here so far. I was just curious to see if there's a data play for, say, buyer intent data. Say, you mentioned like people saying, hey, this house is too expensive.
Sure.
Right, like leveraging that, maybe selling that to Zillow somehow to better understand where buyers are at or comps or something like that.
So we want to have a subscription model around the B2B side where they can see how many scans and deliver that back like, hey, Mr. Customer, we've got 12 signups for your house on Saturday, or we've had 30 scans this week. We want to give those analytics back to the power back to those realtors to then also filter answer any comments that are there. So there is some data that will be able to appear into our dashboard. This is probably a phase 2 on our project, but that's definitely something we're trying to do, because once you get to, let's say, 20 realtors under one agency, then we're going to want to know who's getting scanned, what are the hot spots, where are we actually selling more houses, right? This will be data that will be very important, and that's what we're going to wrap into a subscription service so we can deliver those types of KPIs to those customers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice.
Congrats, Nick.
So thank you very much for.
Thank you. So what we were thinking is we got a few excited founders ready to do some more showcasing for the afternoon. So we're going to try to do those as efficiently as possible. And I think probably by like no later than 5:15-ish, we'll probably have to cut it out of this room. And if we want to spend a little more time in one of the other rooms, because they're going to be using this for something else, we can. And then tomorrow we'll go into the process a little bit, some deep engagement, and be as supportive as we can. Does that sound good to everybody? Yeah. Awesome. All right, let's get it going. And then that one's for the live stream. Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Never done this before. Okay. Okay. Oh, gotta get rid of that window. Okay, cool. All right, well, thanks so much for having me here. I'm Tom Gursky, founder and CEO of Blue Dot Motorworks, and we are going to electrify 500 million existing gas vehicles in order to both save our customers a truckload of cash and give ourselves a fighting chance on climate change. So we do this with our family of plug-in hybrid conversion kits. Shown here is the Narwhal. This is our first product. It's for basically pickup trucks, vans, and SUVs. It's basically a bolt-on electric propulsion system that lets you do all your daily driving under electric power, but keep your engine for the occasional road trip or heavy-duty things like towing. You can charge it from a standard wall outlet. It does regenerative braking. Retail prices are going to be in the $7,000 to $9,000 range. That's at a 40% gross margin, so typical payback period would be a couple of years, if not less. I could sit here and list all the problems we're solving, but it's really more instructive to just share a case study with you. So this gentleman here is the sustainability manager at a school district up in British Columbia. He reached out to us on LinkedIn after hearing about what we're doing, and he explained that he has this problem where he's got to cut his emissions by 40% by the end of this decade, and that's a legislated mandate. He has to do that. He looked into what it would take to replace all of their pickups and vans with electric alternatives, and sticker shock, there's just no way you can do that on a school district budget. Then he looked at what it would take to bring in depot charging for all of those EVs, level 2 charging. He would have to upgrade his electrical service with the utilities. That's going to cost huge money and take sometimes years to get all that done with all the permitting and paperwork. Lastly, when time you factor in the upfront carbon of all those vehicles that wouldn't have otherwise been produced, each one of those has to be driven 8 years before it even breaks even on carbon. So that erases almost all the benefits from the get-go. So he was very frustrated by this, heard about what we were doing, thought it might work out. So they provided us all of their emissions, all their usage data, and we analyzed it and showed that if they converted their entire fleet with our products, they would cut their emissions by 65%, so dramatically exceeding that mandate. But more importantly, we'd turn that liability into a cost savings opportunity with massive fuel savings. They would pay for it in about 2.5 years, and then they'd go on to save over $100,000 every year in fuel. Lifetime savings well north of $1 million. That's going to buy a lot of laptops and tablets for their students. So we do this by really achieving a dramatically lower price point and much more scalable business than any other attempt at vehicle conversion before. We do that by relying on 3 pillars. The first is that instead of doing a full EV conversion, we convert into plug-in hybrid. So that means we're making the most of what you've already got in your vehicle, and we can use 80% less battery. That has huge savings on cost and weight and whatnot. Plus now you eliminate almost all the downsides that people associate with EVs, range anxiety, charging infrastructure, and whatnot. Really the most important thing we've done is developed universal, we call vehicle agnostic hardware. This means that within a given category of vehicle, it's the same hardware whether it's going on a Ford F-150 or a Toyota Tacoma. That means we can invest in the tooling required to mass produce it, hit a much lower price point. And then lastly, we have an installation process that's simple and consistent. So with a bit of online training, any mechanic anywhere in the world can be certified to install our kits. So really this can be almost as easy as buying tires online. You buy the product from us, we refer you to a local installer, drop your car off in the morning, pick it up that evening, and it's been converted. Basically, it's what we call the tire rack model, because it's as easy as buying tires. Centralized production, distributed installation. The market opportunity here is pretty massive. I mean, almost anything in the automotive landscape is. It's kind of meaningless to talk about TAM because there's 1.5 billion cars in the world. But when we start looking at the sort of SAM level of things, it gets interesting because now we're looking at what vehicles would actually achieve a positive return on investment with our product. So that's going to be if you've got access to home or work charging, if you're kind of driven in that plug-in hybrid sweet spot 10 to 50 miles a day, which is actually the majority of drivers. And then if your vehicle's a little bit on the older side, so you're not, because most people aren't going to want to slap something like this on a brand new vehicle. But that really turns out to, in the US, to be a $42 billion SAM. And then the global market is $205 billion. So it's a huge opportunity. The niche market that we're carving out first is the beachhead of public and commercial fleets that are operating pickup trucks and vans and SUVs, so using that first product of ours. And so that is about a $76 million SOM that we think we can achieve at about 10% penetration of that market. Animation didn't work out too well there. We're a seasoned team of professionals. We've all got well over 20 years of experience in various fields. I'm an MIT engineer, spent over 25 years in the front end of product development, turning new science and technology into viable products. Redwood Stevens, he was a president of a product design firm, also chief product officer at Rad Power Bikes. This was during their heyday when we were really hitting on all cylinders. And then Adele, we were actually classmates at MIT. She's went on to get a master's and go to law school and has been doing tech startup strategy and IP ever since. We have made road-going prototypes of our entire portfolio. They're on real vehicles driven in the real world, so definitely more than a proof of concept, but we'd say a bit shy of being a full alpha prototype, so they don't yet fully represent the final user experience. But we do have 3 issued patents, 3 more pending, and total IP material is about 360 pages worth of innovations to make this feasible. So we have those proofs of concept. We now are raising money to develop that alpha prototype, so that will be something that fully represents the user experience of the final product. That's going to take about $1.5 million to get to there. Then we'll do pilot programs using beta prototypes. That will be with paying fleet customers, and we're already starting to onboard those. We've got about 3 or 4 units spoken for out of about 10 or 12 units that we're looking to field in that system. We're going to spend most of this money on just straight up development. We're going to leverage a lot of outside resources to make that happen as quickly as possible. Like I said, we have 2 fleets signed up for pilot programs, and we're in conversations with several others. Few you might recognize there. Typical hockey stick curve, nobody wants to see that. But what's actually really exciting is that we have a wait list of just individual customers that we have found us. We haven't solicited this at all. They just heard about what we're doing, reached out and said, I want one as soon as I can get one, and that wait list is worth over $1 million. So a lot of interesting use cases here. Kind of the recurring theme is just really points out the fact that you cannot buy a plug-in hybrid pickup truck in the United States today. So these are people that they might tow a boat or an RV on the weekend, but they still drive that truck to work every day, getting 15 miles to the gallon. So we let them do that daily commute on electric power, but still have all the flexibility and range and whatnot to take that boat or go out to the wilderness and go overlanding. I have to touch on the climate aspect of this. So the really problem we're solving here is that the global fleet of vehicles turns over really, really slowly. So this is on the left shows where we are now in terms of vehicles, about 1.5 billion on the road now. We're going to 2.2 billion by 2050. And if you look at how many of those are going to be electrified versus, or I'm sorry, how many of those are still going to be gas powered, the amount of black isn't actually that different in those 2 scenarios. And that really means that we're going to fail to miss our climate targets by a lot. So the next question to ask is, well, all right, what if we just really go hard on EV adoption, get as many people to buy new EVs instead of gas cars? And that's great and all, but the only way to hit our climate targets with that strategy is to actually make more total cars than we do today. We have to increase the size of the automotive industry by about 70% just to crank out enough vehicles to make that turnover fast enough. And that would come with a price tag when you include all the vehicles we have to scrap to make room for those, over $40 trillion. So not going to happen. If we instead, like I said, retrofit 500 million cars, we can get that done for under $3 trillion in the next 25 years. That's something that the world can actually do, especially because you're going to be saving individuals money along the way. So at the end of the day, this is really the most resource efficient, cost-effective, and scalable way to green transportation. And we'd love to have your help in any way that you can. Thanks. Questions? Yeah.
Yeah, awesome idea. Thank you for presenting that. Does it require like registration, licensing due to modification that you do to the car?
No, in the U.S., fortunately, the aftermarket is very loosely regulated in the United States. You see what people do to their cars, obviously, and they're getting away with that. There are a few caveats to that, and it has informed our product architecture. So one of the things that does become a problem is if you affect the native emissions of the car, now suddenly the EPA starts to pay attention and it can get a little bit sticky. So we actually keep our system completely separate from those of the car. You're either operating 100% on electric power or you're operating 100% on the native powertrain. And that means we can argue to the EPA, because they allow you to do this, that we're not affecting emissions in a negative way. So we were basically out of their purview.
And then the second question in this regard, like, are there like state, federal incentives for such conversions, like, you know, going solar? And
yeah, there are not at the moment. We are planning on doing a lot of advocacy to try to get those in place. Prospects are probably dim for the next 3 years, but after that, we think it could be a lot better. And to put that in perspective, if we qualified for the previous federal EV rebate, which did apply to plug-in hybrids as well, we would basically be giving our systems away for free. It's that cost effective. In the back.
I just have a question from the user perspective.
Yeah.
How exactly from the technical side does journey a regular car that runs on gas? I mean, where is the plug that you're supposed to plug in the solution? because to me it sounds very complex. You have a fuel injection system, starters,
Mm-hmm.
engine, and everything. Because if I see this just online, I would not think that this is possible.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, and to be honest, the more you know cars, the more it seems impossible, and that's why it took 360 pages of patent material to make it possible. And you're absolutely right; it's extremely complicated. But what we've done is it's one of those things where you see a solution, and once it's been thought of, it's like, oh yeah, it's obvious that works and it's going to work. But you still have to come up with it in the first place. You know, it's like a paperclip that concept. So to answer your question, we have basically identified just enough commonality from vehicle to vehicle that by building some adaptability into our product architecture, it can be applied to any vehicle. And we do that with common interfaces. You know, for one of our products, we use lug nuts as an interface point. For the narwhal, we use the hollow part of the drive shaft, which is just a hollow metal tube. That's a consistent interface point. We can lock into that. We use the axle tubes as an interface point. We use the accelerator pedal as a physical interface point. We put the user interface on the dashboard. It just sticks on top of your dashboard, so you can power the system on and off, switch modes and whatnot. Sure.
Thanks.
Two questions.
Mhm.
Is the battery removable by the end user? And also for the electrical components like air conditioning in your automobile, how is that powered with the battery operated setup?
Great questions. We will offer some accessories that enable the user to remove the battery. It's going to be, depending on what category of vehicle you're in, it's going to be a 200, 300 pound battery. So it's not something you're just going to like pull off like this, but we have designed some lift kits that can basically remove that for you. That'll be sort of sold as an optional accessory. The vehicle accessories, that's a great question. So a few things we have to worry about. So every kit will get an electric heater and water pump that circulates hot water through the heater core to give you heat and defrost and whatnot when you're operating on electric power. Older vehicles that have hydraulic power steering, we install an electric power steering pump and some check valves that allow you to operate on an electric pump when you're operating on electric power. And then we can also install an electric brake booster pump. We're still figuring out the best way to do air conditioning. If we don't come up with a really slick, cost-effective way to do that, you just idle when you're running the air conditioner. Yep. In the back.
I believe the average vehicle is 14 years old. Does this technology impact the life cycle of the vehicles that are currently on the road once it's retrofitted?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a good point about the average. So a lot of people confuse the average vehicle age with an expected lifespan, and it turns out that a modern car typically lasts about 21 years and will do close to 250,000 miles. So even if we're dealing with cars that are completely out of the warranty period, 5 years old, still got 15 plus years to operate the system. So to answer your question, yes, we will extend the vehicle's life in the sense that you're going to be putting a lot less wear and tear on your engine because you're probably only using it 20% of the time. That's going to mean fewer oil changes, longer life. Also, because we do regen braking, we're not putting nearly as much stress on your brakes, so those are going to last longer interface, maintenance intervals.
Is there a point back where you can't outfit it, like the older the car, like if I have a 22,000?
No, in some ways, the older you go, the easier it gets because the less digitized the cars are. But some things also get harder. Like a modern car is usually going to have electric power steering, so we wouldn't have to install that hydraulic pump. But it's also going to be a little harder to find like the mounting points for some of those things, just because things are more crowded and whatnot. So it's kind of, if I had to pick one, I probably would choose to do an older car, but there's really no material difference.
General question.
Yeah.
About how easy for the end user is it to switch from your battery to back to the normal?
Yeah, I mean it's basically a button on that dash top unit. You press that and everything happens automatically. All you have to do is you'll be in neutral, just drop your car and drive and hit the gas and off you go.
Great concept.
Hmm?
So electric cars are super fun to drive, especially over gas combustion.
Yeah.
Because you press the pedal and they go. They drive completely different.
Sure.
Are there other things that you would have to outfit? Like you can't put a Ferrari engine in a Volkswagen Beetle,
Right.
So are there other things that you would have to fabricate to adhere to the response time for electric, or like?
No, I mean you'll basically get all those benefits of electric power with our system. We're not designing it to like smoke a Tesla Plaid off the line. Like its power, as Rolls-Royce would say, is adequate, and that's by design because we want it to be basically as small, light, and affordable as possible. We're actually going to be gentler on the native components of the drivetrain than the engine will be. If you think about what an engine is, it's all these violent explosions that drives a lot of pulses and vibration through the powertrain. We're just a silky smooth electric motor, so we're actually going to put less wear and tear on your rear differential, on your axles, all that sort of stuff.
In terms of some of the technical specs, can you share things like horsepower, weight?
Yeah. So it all depends on the vehicle category. So we basically have a 2x2 product matrix. We have one family designed for car-based vehicles and one family designed for truck-based vehicles, and then we can break those into kind of small and large within those categories. So on like a small hatchback, we're going to be in the 150 horsepower range. You go up to a heavy-duty pickup truck, F-350 type thing, we're going to be pushing 250, maybe even 300 horsepower. Yeah. We haven't finalized some of those specs yet.
In terms of weight and size?
Yeah, so in the range of 300 pounds to about 400, 450 pounds, depending on that across that spectrum. Yeah, and we also have an optional supplemental suspension system that will actually basically adds an extra set of springs to the vehicle that's self-contained within our system that takes the weight off of the vehicle's suspension.
How difficult would it be to add a generator which would regen the battery?
To add a generator that would regen the battery, you probably wouldn't want to do that just from a thermodynamic standpoint. You're going to come out behind on energy. You're going to spend more fuel than you gain back on the electric side. That's why we didn't try to do any kind of integration with operating both the engine and the electric motor at the same time. Really, the number one reason why a hybrid like a Prius is more efficient is because they start with a less powerful gas engine, and then they make up that difference with an electric motor. So if you're starting with a full powered gas engine, there's just not as much opportunity for fuel savings by adding the electric side of it, so we just keep them totally separate. In the back.
Does it make that little weird noise so that you know somebody can hear you coming?
Yes, it does. That's required by law. So anytime you're in reverse or below, I think 25 miles an hour, it will make that humming sound. Yeah. In the back.
What does the competitor landscape look like? Am I having any of them really nailed that?
Yeah, so there are lots of, there's a pretty established cottage scale industry of conversion shops out there. And that would be, the good analogy is to say that it's like going to a tailor and having a suit custom made for you. It's, it's a very nice product, but if you're talking about a suit, that's probably a $4,000 suit. Not many people out there own that. We are basically going to be like going to Nordstrom and buying a small, medium, or large suit. So the reason why none of these have taken off, it's really about cost and scalability. So if you were to go to that custom shop, they're going to charge you at least $40,000 to convert your car. So people only do it as essentially a labor of love or an enthusiast type thing. Nobody has done this in a way that is cost effective enough where it can pay for itself in a reasonable amount of time, and that's what makes us unique. In fact, it can pay for itself so quickly that if you finance the project, you can basically save more in fuel than your monthly payment. So you're going to be cash positive from day one with no out-of-pocket expense.
Dang.
In the back, way back.
Is it going to be like a hybrid situation where you can switch between like gas, diesel?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely, and you can choose when you want to.
It's just like a little button.
Yeah,
Hybrid.
it's exactly that. Yep.
Sometimes it gives me like 20 minutes of electric, and then sometimes it's just hard.
Yeah, exactly. So the 4xe Jeep, they get, I think, about 22 miles of electric range. We're targeting 35 initially, and then we'll eventually offer an upgraded pack that will be closer to 50, 55 miles.
And it's going to be like the general plugs, like if you go to like
Yep.
Pop and
Yeah, you'll be able to plug into a Tesla or a what's called a CCS charger.
you
Should I
going
take
down?
this?
Yes.
Should I take this?
Yes, please clip that on yourself. Get that one from the other
Is it right here?
Oh.
So a bone to pick with Nick, because I start all my talks with howdy. And then I get up here, and he has in big letters, his slide, this is howdy.
Say it anyway.
Howdy! I'm supposed to say howdy back.
Howdy.
Is that your one word?
Yeah, that's my one word. Yeah. Howdy is sort of a magical word that Texas made after, so. Howdy, my name is Shu Chow. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of a site called Don't Bother Applying. And we are a community on mission to empower people in the modern job market.
Sure, you can clip that one and then hold the other one.
Can I hold it?
If that's better for you, yeah. It doesn't project here, that's just for online. This one projects here.
Oh, I see, okay. So let me do both.
Yeah.
So the world has substantially changed for job seekers, and we know this, that it's not just a recent thing. It's really been going on for a few decades, even with internet and for better or for worse, remote work. Best case scenario now, you are competing against job applicants on a nationwide level, not just your regional area, right? So there's substantially more applicants, qualified workers than jobs here. Second, which is AI has, for better or for worse, is weaponizing technology against people. So some sites have said, well, we'll just combat AI with more AI. So you're just escalating the fight there. No one really wins that way. So but the result of all three of this is that companies and recruiters really have no incentive to not engage in unethical behavior against job seekers. And quite frankly, you're taking advantage of people that are at their most vulnerable. So we decided to create a solution to fight this problem. There has been a lot of press and a lot of studies looking at this problem. 21% of job ads may be ghost jobs. So this, I think, maybe even higher. And so our solution creates accountability. First off, we are a community. We share interview and company experience with our users, and we give insights on current hiring trends and strategies on how to mitigate this. We create this content and blog posts and pay attention to current trends and convey that for our users. And lastly, we serve as a watchdog for the job market for our users. We built the site already. We built the data engineering platform around it, built the machine learning platform around it. About 8 months ago, we started to, this is a typical page from one of our profile companies that we watch. You may have heard of Astronomer. We put them up there. We wanted to see if they were advertising a CEO position and if they were advertising a head of HR position, and see how long it would take them to fill that. So we put a bunch of metrics against Astronomer, against the data that we see. Astronomer is actually a pretty good company. So when you go to the site, you see Astronomer and say, okay, they engage in ethical behavior. So go ahead and I'm not going to waste my time, and I'm not going to waste my time. Don't go ahead and apply to Astronomer. I think they're a good company with a good culture. We've been working on this for about a year. We started with data aggregation ML platform. That's my expertise. We are registered C Corp. We started our social media presence, and we are in the middle of creating a lot of content with that. And we do have we did unsolicited. We had a fair amount of people that believe in what we're doing. So we have a group of evangelists that we keep in contact with, and we've used them for user feedback cycles, and we've actually iterated over our data and our site several times. The market opportunity we see that moats around, specifically Glassdoor and Blind. We think that their moats have really deteriorated in the past several years, so we see opportunities there. Between those sites that list, there's about 750 million users per month, and those sites roughly get about 20 billion in revenue. Our SAM that we think we can address is around 60 million, and with 257 million ARR. That is actually comes from 3 revenue sources that we see right now. We see opportunities for advertising. First and foremost, data sales. We have engaged in data marketplaces on our data. And finally, we do see opportunities in the traditional marketing space, not digital marketing. Just tack that market at the end of our runway. One interesting thing was that one statistic we found is that the recruiting space, I think it's like a $75 billion industry. And in tech, we think that most of that is digital marketing and like Indeed and ZipRecruiter and things like that. Digital marketing is actually about 25% of that total market. 75% is still in traditional recruiting. So there has not been a lot of innovation there, and we think there's an opportunity there to attack that. Our SOM within 5 years, we think we can get to about 3 million users, probably can increase that, and with a 58 million ARR. Our go-to-market and business strategy is basically data. So the more data we collect, the more we can generate revenue based on that data in the data marketplaces, in enriching the product for our users, and creating more data products for our B2B's revenue stream. And it's just this never-ending cycle where we take that revenue and feed it back and reinvest it into our product. We are not adopting a freemium model or anything like that against our users for many reasons. First and foremost, I think it's I get a bad taste in my mouth if you're going to charge unemployed people to use your product. And second of all, that's just a bad revenue stream. If they get a job within 3 months, they're canceling your product. So why even bother with that? We're not even attacking that. There are several competitors in the space. There's a few small sites that are trying to do what we do. We differentiate in I think, our data. The 2 large gorillas in the space are Glassdoor and Blind. Glassdoor has a reputation problem, like I said. They've hit a lot of credibility problems with Gen Z. And Blind has onboarding issues too. Blind, you need a work email to join Blind. I'm not going to get into toxicity of that site. Our funding strategy, we're seeking 2.35 for essentially a 2-year runway, and that's roughly divided into 3 pieces. The 1/3 that is primarily for growth and marketing. That's probably a little bit the largest slice of that 1/3. That's for organic marketing and our marketing team, and ramping up the sales team for the advertising revenue stream too. The another 1/3 will be spent on engineering and onboarding engineers to maybe 1 or 2 engineers to increase our data platform and the reliability of that, and the frequency of that, in which we can run things. Our growth projections for those 2 years we're looking at 30 million in revenue at the end of those 2 years for those 3 revenue streams, and roughly about 54,000 users per month. There's a lot of acquisition partners in this space, so I just wanted to call that out. Mainly Glassdoor and LinkedIn and ZipRecruiter, Indeed, they've all purchased analytics and also competitors on this. One of these, Glassdoor, they're interesting is because they have only purchased competitors for their products. So their biggest one has been, I believe, Fishbowl a couple of years ago. So Fishbowl was used for their essentially their forums, and they purchased Fishbowl too. Our leadership team, I'm technically the CEO. I've got 20 years of engineering experience, primarily in data engineering, but also just general back-end engineering. Last job, I started working in product and product management. And we've got a friend, these are all friends of mine that we've worked with in the past in startups. So I have myself have been early engineer, not a founder, but an early engineer in several startups with exits, primarily in Austin. We have a lot of advisors. These are people that I may have spoken about this project for like 5-10 minutes, and they say it's a great idea, so they come on board and join us on this too. So we have a great CRO that I'm in contact with them very, very often. So we also have 2 recruiters because that is the space we are targeting. So we have a former Amazon recruiter and a external recruiter. They've been in the space for many years, and they advise us on the product direction of our site. That's it. That's my LinkedIn. Any questions? Sure.
Oh, sorry. I am super interested in, and I may have missed this, how are you collecting this data, and does it put you at risk with the companies for maybe, if, I was looking at your website and it's like, oh, Dropbox is like on the top 5 of don't apply there, and so does that put you at any kind of legal risk, or do you, like, where does that data come from?
Nope. Quite frankly, web scraping is through case law is protected. So you can go ahead and scrape as long as there's some like gray areas. You can't hit it like 1,000 times a second or something like that. They'll probably have a case against you. But for regular, the way we scrape is the short answers no. And we don't violate terms of service too. So several of those competitors, at least one of them I know, gets their postings from LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has a history of suing companies that scrape their data. So once we get funding, the first thing I'm doing is calling LinkedIn and saying this other site is scraping.
Careful, because they might sue you both.
We're not touching them. No.
Yeah.
2 questions. One, your original slide said you went from concept to first deployment in about 4 or 5 months.
Yes.
That's very short.
Yes.
How did you do it so quickly? What techniques did you use?
I'm a good programmer. I don't know. I don't know. We just started. It was about a year ago, and we did actually kind of had a failure actually in our data collection, because I was just going to. My previous job worked in a cybersecurity company, and all we did, we harvest data, but all we did was we hired offshore people just to go and click sites. So I thought we can do that too. And I hired several teenagers that I knew, and I realized that they were notoriously unreliable. And so I said, kind of screw it, and found out that they can all be replaced with some pretty basic scripts. The front end and back end, that's been my specialty, and I've been able to crank that out, both of them, in maybe about 6 weeks, and I handed it over to a friend of mine. He does that. So.
And the second question is how do you model whether or not a job is a ghost position?
Yeah, so we are using essentially NLP for that. We're taking a pretty good guess, and we're not at the job level yet. So, but we do things like, if a job has been around for 7 days, exactly 7 days, and it goes away, we know that that job is probably, there's some mandatory posting requirement for that job, right? And especially if it's something like a defense contractor like Boeing or something like that, right? That's 7 days, it's gone. That wasn't for you. That was for an internal candidate, right? So is it a legitimate job? Yes. Are you gonna get it? Probably not. So it's things like that. There's multiple dimensions that we.
So it's primarily heuristic.
Oh, yeah.
There's also companies that post jobs on LinkedIn, but they wouldn't post it in their official
Right.
page.
Yeah, LinkedIn is very, very aggressive on renewing jobs. And so they will, if you posted a job for your company, LinkedIn will automatically repost that and they'll be happy to charge your credit card. Whereas internally, you've already filled it and you forgot to take it down off LinkedIn.
How are you gonna make money?
So we have 3 revenue streams. First off is selling data in the data marketplace. Most, all our data that we're collecting right now, we've actually had a talk with the data marketplace about this. There is a market for our data. We need to increase the data set. We need to increase the time that we have the data, but there is a market for it. That is, most of our data we collect is on industry and the economy as a whole, right? So including government sources. So we're kind of dodging the user question at this point, and probably will as long as we can, because that will open us up a whole can of worms. But there's opportunities there. The advertising is another. The companies, if you're a good company, hey, you should apply there, and we'll endorse you. Just give us some money. So our CRO has a long tail experience with that, and he's chomping at the bit. He said, we'll charge this, do this, and give me one contract and blah, blah, blah. So he's good to go on that.
Like Gartner, you know the Gartner reports for cloud
Right.
or whatever, that also could be like producing reports.
There are multiple audiences for our